both kickers in this game will be vital in the outcome. I feel like for the Niners, it's their game to win as long as Alex Smith plays the way that he did last year.
And one more game, the Sunday night football game on NBC on Sunday will be the Steelers and the Broncos, a rematch of one of the AFC divisional games last year. The Broncos, a thrilling overtime victory over the Steelers at the Mile High City. Who takes that game in Peyton Manning's debut with the Broncos?
Peyton Manning on a rematch game. I mean, what more can you expect? Obviously, just kicking off the weekend, I feel like this week one opening NFL season, it could not open in more terrific fashion. I'm looking forward to the Sunday night matchup, and for two teams that are tremendous on the defensive side of the ball, I did mention the Denver Broncos, a top 10 in the NFL on the defensive side of the ball last year, just tremendous on that side, and then on offense, you plug in a guy that can finally get it done at quarterback, Tim Tebow, statistically the worst starting quarterback in the NFL last year. Now you plug in a Hall of Famer. I feel like for Denver, right off the bat, it should be a week one win, and mind you not, the Steelers, a little humble pie right off the bat, getting swept by the Broncos in back-to-back games. I feel like it's Denver's division to lose, including a game to lose. So I feel like Denver improving to 1-0 this week.
All right, thanks, Nick, for being on the show. Do you have any last words before you go?
Well, obviously, I'll be tuning into the rest of the show if possible. You guys have a terrific product. Just keep going, doing what you're doing. Steven, you have some great points, and Robert, you're a good host. Thank you for having me, and make sure to tune in Monday night, ladies and gentlemen, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, for Nick and Phil's weekly rundown of the NFL. It's called the NFL Goal Line on Spreaker.com. Thanks, guys, for having me, and hopefully I'll be on for your next few shows.
Thank you, Nick, and I love your show too. I love you as a host, man. Thank you very much for being on the show. I hope you'll be able to come onto the show another time.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
You
All
too.
right, you too.
And that was Nick Rice he is the host of the NFL Goal Line with Nick and Phil. He's probably number one NFL analyst or
Yeah, man, like that guy, he knows everything about NFL you need to know.
I just
Tune into that show.
I tried to put him on a spot and didn't really work out. We're going to go into a commercial break. When we come back, we'll be bringing our NCAA football analyst, Chris Sylvester, from Chris's Corner, talk to us about some football, about some marquee games, give him his prediction, and also one school bringing back the Indian logo. And a lot of people are saying it's skeptical. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? But first, before we go to commercial break, we have a caller. Hello, caller. You're on Deits and Steven's All Out Sports Show.
Thank you very much. It's actually one of the hosts, Cameron Sadeghi. I'm actually doing the game tomorrow between the Patriots and the Titans at 10. No, not tomorrow. Sunday, my bad. 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. And I wanted to talk about the Saints issue and how it got resolved beautifully. To me, I understand you guys, and I know you're right, bounty systems, and as a fan of the game, and you guys are fans of the game as well, you guys know that bounty systems are obviously not right. But the reality is this. You know, Benny Ricardo came onto my show and said that most teams perform bounty systems and teams do cheat in the NFL, so it shouldn't be a surprise to Goodell. I feel like his group and this committee and what the Players Association, we all need to come collectively together to find out and to really have a common ground and both sides need to understand that the NFL needs to investigate teams more often, and they need to see that, hey, you know, teams do cheat. Teams do have bounty systems. So I think this ruling was great because, yes, it's the coach's fault. I totally agree. But as much as we want to say how bad the system was, if Benny Ricardo, a guy who's around the NFL as an announcer, who knows Bill Belichick very well, and we know what Bill Belichick went through in '07. You know, he's around the game beautifully. He in the locker room, he knew guys wanted to, you know, he knew that defenders wanted to card off players, injure players to benefit their team in late game scenarios. So, as cruel as it sounds and as cutthroat as it is, I am not surprised that the Saints have this bounty system, and I wouldn't be surprised if there are more teams out there. I don't want to make any conspiracy theories and say, oh, the Steelers do it or the 49ers because of the way they play, but I will not be surprised if those types of teams do have bounty systems, and that's all I wanted to come on here for, and I really appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Cameron, for stating your opinion on this case. That's really been the main headline around sports all day, and it's possibly going to be that way for the next few days. So, Robert, what do you have to say?
Well, like Cameron, I do agree because I think other teams out there do have it, but they just busted the Saints for it. And as you said, there is other teams, and I totally agree with that. There has to be at least, maybe every team has it or some teams just do it, but I know there has to be another team out there that does it.
I feel like, and I'm going to be quite honest with you, I know they've almost basically killed Brett Favre in that NFC Championship game in '09, and it really felt like it, and as a fan, I thought you were going to die on the football field. That kind of sounds extreme, but that's just what I thought. It's understandable why they think that, but I can give you so many instances. I mean, even this AFC Championship game last year when the Patriots beat the Ravens after every single play, Baltimore started trying to get into New England, trying to start up a fight. I mean, there's so many instances. When you get in these championship-type games, guys are going to be cutthroat. Guys are going to do whatever necessary, even if it's cruel. So I think too many people, you know, are a prisoner of the moment in these type of scenarios, but the reality is this happens all over the league, and I think people need to come to realize that.
All right, Cameron, thank you for coming on to the show again and stating your case on this very serious topic, and we look forward to have you on the show another time.
By the way, guys, I was Chandra. I know, for any of the listeners, I was Chandra, and I won't call on as Chandra anymore and be that annoying. I was just kidding with you guys and see how you'd handle it. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego, mi amigo. And that was Cameron. Tune in to his show, the Cameron Sadeki Show, whenever
he has it,
whenever he has it, because he doesn't really play.
All right, so we're just going to go to commercial break here. We'll be back, and Chris Sylvester will be on.
All right, guys, so enjoy Fastlane.
I'm gonna treat these shell cases like a soccer ball. I'm gonna kick the ballistics, so get this dick for living. Life in the fast lane, moving at the speed of life, and I can't slow down. Only got a gallon in the gas tank, but I'm almost at the finish line, so I can't stop now. I don't really know where I'm headed, cause I'm enjoying the ride. Don't roll till I drop and ride till I die. I'm living life in the fast lane, living life in the fast lane.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back here, the Deits and Stevens All Out Sports Show here on Spreaker.com, and we're going to be starting this other portion of the show with our NCAA football analyst from National Sports, Chris Sylvester, host of Chris's Corner. Chris, welcome to this Deits and Stevens All Out Sports Show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks for being on. And you are the college football guy for us. And the first news we want to talk about before we get to predictions for this week, we like to bring up a topic that is probably underrated. Robert, actually, you
Yes.
found this out actually.
Yeah, so Eastern Michigan University football team takes the field for its home opener this weekend. Members of the school board band will be supporting uniforms embolized with two of EMU's former logos, including one of the school dropped 21 years ago. Amid criticism, it was demeaning to Native Americans, bringing back the Indian logo. What do you think, Chris?
I think it's good that they're showing their traditionalism there at Eastern Michigan. Obviously, a school that we don't hear much about across the news boards, and this is the first time I'm hearing this story. So, I think it's a good thing for this university to feel like, they can do this and they can go forward with what they believe in as being a smaller football school.
I have a question, Chris. This isn't the first team that obviously has a mascot of the Indians. You probably know the Cleveland Indians in baseball. They have that mascot, but I think there's a high school where I live. It's called Sequoia High School. It was first the Cherokees, and people thought that was causing criticism about demeaning the Native Americans again. Then they changed the name to the Redwoods or something like that. I think that do you think it's necessary for if it's necessary to bring up for high school or college? I don't think that pros would. The pros won't really matter anymore. But for colleges and high schools, I think it'll be easy for them to change their name. So, do you think it's necessary to bring it up for a college like Eastern Michigan did, or a high school like Sequoia High School did?
Well, I mean, there's always going to be controversy when you're talking about, Native American pride and, how, one time long ago, the United States of America was, all full of Native Americans. And then obviously the people from Europe came in and took it over. And, obviously there's still a lot of Native Americans that live in America. But, I think blown out of proportion. I don't think it's necessary to even pay attention to this. I mean, that's great that Eastern Michigan's doing this, but I mean, why is anybody talking about Eastern Michigan football? I mean, obviously it's a topic that a lot of people want to hear about, and it's a controversial topic, but then again, it's not really a big deal in my mind. But obviously in others' mind, people might find it, ethnical wrong doing in the part of Eastern Michigan, but let them do what they need to do. They're a small university. If this was a team who's a BCS team, maybe you might see more attention being pointed to it, but it's Eastern Michigan, a very small football school, so I don't think we should worry too much about it.
And so, Rob, we're going to start talking about some predictions for Week 2 of college football. And, Robert, I know there's one game you want to talk about a lot.
The Syracuse and USC game. What are the predictions on that, Chris?
I was watching the Syracuse-Northwestern game last week. Northwestern won in the last minute after Syracuse had something crazy like 36 unanswered points. This game's going to mean a lot more, and the Syracuse players are going to be a lot more pumped because they're going against the number 2 team in the nation, the USC Trojans, who many feel are going to win the BCS National Championship this year, and as they should. Obviously, USC comes out with Heisman candidate Matt Barkley, the great receivers, and Marquise Lee and Robert Woods. You also have Silas Red from Penn State in the backfield, along with a young but solid defense that Lane Kiffin brings to the table. This game might be close come the end of the first or the second quarter. Obviously, anything can happen on any given Saturday in college football. But I think USC is going to end up running away with this game, and they should have beating the Syracuse Orange.
And I have a question. I have a game that I want to bring up. Actually, I should say two. Texas A&M and Missouri are going to have their home openers for SEC play starting on Sunday, both against ranked opponents and both at home. What do you think is going on? So the University of